Greetings and salutations, and yeah, we're doing it again. The One Talent Challenge. As you remember, my barbarian, I didn't quite make it away from Duriel. I was trying to DPS him down, and then I tried to back away, and it didn't quite go as planned. It's let's just let's just say there's a there's a whole new set of problems. I just sat there expecting to be, perfectly fine against Duriel, but nope. Down it went. But we're back at it. Now, I've been sitting here and I enjoy the series. I enjoy playing Diablo 2. I enjoy recording Diablo 2. I enjoy doing the One Talent Challenge. I really do. And some classes are easier than others, whereas like the paladin is going to be one of the easiest. It's going to rank right up there with the druid. I'm not going to lie to you. The easiest class, however, is indeed the Amazon. You just invest all your points into Magic Arrow and then right click to win. It's literally free. And I mean that 100% literally free, because Magic Arrow becomes negative mana. It actually refunds you mana when you shoot with it. And it doesn't cost ammunition, so when I say legitimately free, I mean free. But as we're going back down into the absolute giant suck hole that is One Talent, we are going to end up doing Thorns. Because I could do things like Might, but you just don't get any. You just don't get enough damage. Smite, you don't get enough for what it is. Thorns will carry you through normal, and then from there we're going to pick up Smite. Because then we go Thorns, Smite, and then into... I don't know where we're going to go. Thorns into... We get Smite. That's about it. Doesn't do anything else. I can't get to Holy Shield. No, yeah. We're gonna do Thorns into Smite, and then we'll see where we go from there. Of course, with this Paladin, you're gonna need all the HP in the world because, well, it's Thorns. You're gonna be eating all the damage in the world. Quite literally. And as always, we're going to be using an Act 2 Mercenary. I would go with an Act 1 Mercenary, but the Prayer Aura as well as the Insight Polearm, those two are absolutely critical to make this work. The Insight Polearm you can wait until like Nightmare to get. Doesn't really, you don't really need to worry about it too much because your Thorns will carry you and the Prayer will carry you throughout all of normal. But once you hit into Nightmare, it gets problematic. And you kind of need that extra mana because if you start spamming Smite, yeah. Now, you don't need Dexterity on a Paladin. Smite Paladin, anyway. Because Smite has no attack rating. You're guaranteed to land a hit with Smite. That being the case, all your hits being guaranteed, Smite is like the perfect ability for a Paladin. Just the damage problem is you're not going to have enough damage with it. So between Smite and Thorns, we might be able to get it carried all the way through. And the Paladin is, of course, going to get a lot of resistances with the Paladin shields. You put diamonds in it. So, we're looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. And I always thought that the refilling shrines, after clicking that one, I thought they should give stamina too. Because it's refilling. So, technically it should refill all the bars. That's just my belief. It's, I've been looking for new things to do on the channel. I like the One Talent Challenge. I like the But Will It Snipes. I love doing those things. the problem is right now, but Will It Snipe can't really work until Black Ops comes out with more weapons. Otherwise, I'm going to have to do But Will It Snipe Revisited. And
My duty here is done.
I don't know if I really want to do, like, I mean, I guess I can do Revisited. It wouldn't be a hateful thing to do. But I don't know. Let me know if you want me to revisit something. Like, if I made a mistake, let me know in the comments. And people say, "Oh, well, right there, you're trying to engagement farm and trying to use the algorithm." No. I want feedback. I'm not going to sit there and stump for everything else that everyone else does on YouTube. Nope. The way I see it is, you'll either like it or you won't. You'll either subscribe or you won't. No big deal. If you do, that's great. If you don't, hey, that's great. Everybody's got that ability. Everybody's got that option. I'm still waiting for Path of Exile 2. And I'm still waiting to see just how amazing the game is. Because a lot of people have been touting that too. There's also another thing I'm going to do. I'm making 2 videos. I'm going to upload them later. But I'm making 2 videos currently. And I already made one. And it was a Warcraft Rumble. So if you see that one, that's going to be the one going up first. The other one going up later will be this one. And then there's another one even later still. I might tinker around and try to do... you know what? I'm not going to use the chip topaz. I'm going to grab that so I can have a set of boots. There we go. I'm going to tinker around with the 5-star Rayquaza. This is a 5-star shiny Rayquaza thing that started up to December 12th, which is... Where's my phone? Tomorrow. So I can't do the Rayquaza thing just yet. So I'm filming this on the 11th. Having said that, I managed to get Hoopa on Pokemon Unite. Tinkaton will be coming out very soon, and I'm going to look into that. I'm going to look and see how Tinkaton is earned, because I don't know if they're going to do the whole roll the dice, walk the pathway thing, and do the events that way. As if they do, more power to me. If they don't, well, no pizdiets, you know? I'll save up the money and I'll just buy her the normal way. Because I'm more interested in getting Tinkaton than I am getting anything else. I don't mind the idea of getting a Psyduck, of getting Psyduck, but at the same time, part of me is like, I don't want another support. I really don't. I also need to look up a good move set for Lucario. A good move for Lucario, I should say. Speaking of, if anybody out there that has been watching my content wants to challenge me to like Regulation H battle or something, I'm more than welcome to. I will gladly accept a challenge. I like it. And, just got to get a hold of me in the comments. That's the thing. And it's one of those things that's like, I'm very open to working with random people. And people say, well, why is that? You're an introvert. Why are you open to working with random people? Seems like counterproductive, doesn't it? Well, here's the thing. My openness to working with random people comes from the idea of, well, not the idea, but the idealistic viewpoint of, you never know how working with certain people will go. You never know if it is going to be a boon or a bust. You never really can tell. And in some cases it will be. It'll be an absolute boon and it just flies off the handle. In other cases it's a bust. You may enjoy their company and you may laugh and get along and you may, make the same content, enjoy each other's company, but content-wise it might not fly. If you catch my drift. And if it doesn't fly, that's fine. You could still, get together with them and collab with them. I mean, I collabed multiple times. Somebody came into my stream one time and he wanted to build some stuff in Minecraft, and he wanted to play some Farlight. You know, we were doing that. And, you know, he's a good guy, and you know, I still talk to him, even though I'm making YouTube stuff now. It's like, you know, I still chat with him every once in a while. It's like, hi, Peter. You know, I don't have a camera because it's still on the fritz, but I waved anyway. And there are other people that came into the channel, and they were, you know, lurking around and skulking around and talking and, you know, just interacting. And I loved it. I loved the interactions. It was great. And it's like, that's one of the things that I've always wanted to do is inspire people. Inspiring people, I can't say that it takes a specific, you know, it takes a knack. There is a knack to inspiring people. And the reason I say that is this. You could go, like, imagine if you went to, say, like a TED Talk, right? And you go to this TED Talk, and all of a sudden, the guy there at the TED Talk, you know, sounds like Ben Stein and acts like he's been pumped full of Valium, right? And you go there, and you know, he's just like, "Welcome to my TED Talk. I hope that I can inspire you to achieve greatness. If not, I deeply apologize for wasting your time today." You know, you wouldn't want to go to a TED Talk with a guy like that, because he's not really going to speak to you on a deep level, right? Now, there is the chance that that will happen, that you will have, you know, people that do make that deep connection and something they say resonates with you. It's truly possible. It's not likely if they're very unenthusiastic sounding, you know? They need to be somewhat enthusiastic about what they're talking about. Because you don't want them to, you know, you don't want people to be just like miserable about what they're selling or what they're talking about, or you would rather them be upbeat, friendly, happy, and jovial instead of dour, you know? But I digress. Inspiring people does take a knack. It takes a specific set of skills. Not like in the movie Taken, I've got a specific set of skills. No, not like that. It takes a specific set of skills to really be able to look at somebody and resonate with them and connect with them on such a way, on such a level, that they take a look at everything before them and they go, you know what? They're right. I got this. I got it. And then they're inspired. That inspiration, that spark of inspiration, is one of the best things you could ever witness. Now, people say, what do you mean it's one of the best things you could ever witness? Have you ever seen the inspiration light up in someone's face? Have you ever seen that? It's life-changing. Not just for the person you've inspired, but for you. Looking into this person's eyes as they light up and they realize, wait a minute. That's something new that I haven't seen before. That's something new I haven't thought about before. And it sticks with them. That level of inspiration is just... you can't beat it. You can't beat that feeling of watching them find that purpose. Know what I mean? And being able to do that, and being able to resonate with people that do that, that's awesome. Like, I want to be able to inspire more people. Like, I'll be honest. I've told people that, you know, it's like, if you want to get into content creation, do it. Absolutely do it. And people say, well, I don't know. What do you have to lose? Like, right now, I'm currently doing it without a camera. Thankfully to some, I know, because, you know. Trust me when I tell you. I have had people who have, well, you know, once I get my camera fixed, so, you know, I'll be back with the old face image there in the corner. However, I've had people tell me, like, these are people that I've met on like um language exchange sites. You know, you want to learn a language, I want to learn a language, so there's a language exchange. And they wanted to see who they were working with. They wanted to see a picture of it. And I've also been on, dating profiles on websites. I think I closed them all out now, but I digress. That was back in the past. And I have on at least a dozen occasions. It's not like me exaggerating. On at least 1 dozen occasions, they wanted to see what I looked like, so I would send them a photo, and the response I got back was, "Dear God, no." So I know that I'm not exactly, how do I want to put this, aesthetically pleasing to all. Which is fine. I didn't really anticipate to be, aesthetically pleasing to everyone, but, hearing it kind of delivered in such a brutal way, like, "Dear God, no," kind of puts your life in a different perspective, You heard them basically recoil through text. So, with the camera being off, it's kind of a godsend for some people. However, like I was saying, you don't even have to have a camera. There's a lot of people that don't have a camera, and they get on and they do content creation. And that's fine. Is it less personable? Yeah. Is it less organic? Yeah. Because as far as you know, I could be doing commentary over a video game being played. But wouldn't that be gimmicky and awful? Nevertheless, anybody can make content. I encourage anybody to make content. You'll find your niche, even if it's not making content per se, like go on YouTube, make wild and crazy content. All right, I'm not saying that. I'm saying, like, you want to get on there and play an instrument because you're good at it, do it. Set up make a little crude setup with a camera, or not even a camera, just a microphone and a PC system. Make music, make something, create. There's a new renaissance coming of creators, and when that new renaissance gets here, let me tell you, the amount of creativity that this world is going to have is going to just go absolutely over the moon. Now, people will say, wait a minute, you're talking having a high amount of creativity, and here you are making video game, like, let's play content, per se. Hold up. This isn't a let's play, first off. It is a challenge. It is a one-talent challenge, but it's not a let's play. Okay? I think the era of the let's play YouTubers is pretty well done and over with, within reason. You'll always have a couple of outliers that are still making content and still can. But they end up branching out because they look at the let's plays and they think to themselves, I have to make the video, edit the video, and then I gotta find a new game to let's play because I don't want to get burnout on a series, etc. But there's gonna come a new renaissance. And that new renaissance of people is going to be creators, digital and otherwise, that are out there taking pictures. They're out there creating music. They're out there making comedy. And hopefully, philosophers, much like myself. And people will say, well, wait a minute.
This holy place has been desecrated.
They'll say something along the lines that, I'm not a philosopher. They'll be like, oh, you're not a philosopher. You just sound philosophical. Okay, so I sound philosophical. What's the problem there? Nothing wrong with sounding philosophical. That's number one. Number two, the first philosophers, it's not like they had a degree in it. It's not like you had to be uniquely qualified to be a philosopher. You just had to question things, think outside of the box, and have a different perspective. And that's all I do.
Sisters, there was no other way.
I just look at things with a different perspective, and I say to myself, this is exactly what, you know, this is exactly what I want to make. You know, it's different, but at the same time, it's philosophical, even though it's not purely philosophy. And yes, I did say with I did say that with some semblance of cynicism, and for a reason. Because no matter where you go in life, you're going to have a group of cynics. And you're going to have a group of naysayers, detractors, what have you. But you can't let those people define what you're doing. You can't. If you're doing something and you're passionate about it, keep doing it. Wait, that's... Oh, I was going to say, if that was 1337 gold afterward, I was going to take a screenshot of that. Alas, it was not. But if it's something you're passionate about, stick with it. And really, pour your heart and soul into that passion. Because this new era of creators is going to shape the next years of everything. Like, that legitimately will shape the world. In an artistic sense. Now, there's a lot of people out there that don't like a lot of the art, everything that's out there, the newer art, the modern art. And they don't like the way that things are going. They don't like the new modern music. Now, personally, I'm not a fan of a lot of the modern music, but I do listen to some. And when I listen to some of the modern music, I can't help but find myself really... I like the majority of the mainstream stuff that comes out, I don't really care for. The underground stuff, the independent artists, these are the people I gravitate to. And they're not necessarily like, I mean, there are some artists, I can't even tell you their names because I don't even know their names. I hear their song and I'm like, oh yeah, that's that song. I like that. And these artists are quite legitimately paving the way forward for a new genre, a new level of music. It's just... that's what's going to happen in the world. But you have a point leading up to this era right now where music, art, and a lot of things in that very similar line have all become very stale. And I hate to say it in such a way, but they have become stale. And same way with modern art, too. That's become stale as well. But you can criticize the art. That's perfectly fine. You could say, I don't agree with the art. Or I don't think that is art. It's like, okay, but take a look at the artist's representation. Take a look at what the artist was trying to convey. Try to view it from their eyes. You might not have to agree with the art. I mean, I've seen stuff that I wouldn't classify as art, like the guy that duct taped a banana to the wall. To me, that's not art, but try to convey it through the artist's. Try to take a look at it through the artist's eyes. What was the message he was trying to send? They say, well, it was just a banana on the wall. Okay, but what if it was how he felt about food? Sometimes food is unreachable to some people. Food is unattainable to some people because it is almost as if it is taped to the wall and out of their reach. See? So I look at it from the artist's perspective and say, okay, this what was the message they were trying to send? If this is the message they were trying to send, did it resonate? No, because it's a banana on a wall, so it doesn't resonate with me. But that doesn't mean I sit there and say that the artist is trash. I may not like the art, and I'm free to not like the art, but that doesn't mean that the artist is bad. And we've gotten to this point in society where you have people demonizing artists, saying, oh, well, these artists are bad people because of insert reason. And it's like, okay, just because you don't like their art doesn't mean that they're bad people. It just means you don't like their art. And it becomes a you issue at that point. And I've used that phrase a lot for people. Like, there are some people that were like, well, I don't like this. Well, that's a you problem, isn't it? And I say that to people in public. Like, there'll be people that'll say something. Like, for example, I'm very brash and very blunt to people in public. I'll tell them exactly where the bear craps in the buckwheat, and I'll tell you right now, a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people sit there and they say, I get one of two responses. They look at me and they go, man, this guy's an insufferable dick. Or they look at me and say, I appreciate the honesty. You know, he's being honest. I appreciate the honesty. It's quite refreshing. And the people that like my honesty and they think it's quite refreshing will generally end up being a very good friend. And we'll end up having a lot of chats together. And that's just the way it is. That's the way I am. And so I've had some people that are just like, well, I don't appreciate that. And I said, well, you can walk away. Your legs aren't broken. No one's forcing you to stand there and listen. And they just kind of looked at me and their jaw dropped and they were taken aback by it. And I said, look, one of us has a problem with what I said, and it wasn't me. That means it's a you problem. Knowing this, take a hike, you know? And that's exactly how I was. Obviously, they weren't too happy about it.
I can't carry anymore.
Then again, I didn't really care. I mean, I said exactly what I wanted to say, what I meant to say, and the message got through. I've had people say, well, should you have said it that way? Yes. Now people would say, oh man, that's just, Giga Chad. No, it's not. It's not. What it is it's me just saying exactly what's on my mind. There's nothing Giga Chad about it. There's nothing, like, it's not like I'm sitting there saying, flexing on these people or anything. It's just me telling them exactly how I feel. That's it. It's cold, hard honesty. And like I said, there's a lot of people out there that just they can't handle it. They don't like it. Well, that's a them problem. It's not a me problem. They inevitably will say, well, don't you want people to like you? World's not a popularity contest, my friend. I can be the most well-loved person in the world, but guess what? There's going to be someone out there that can't stand me. It's not a popularity contest. And that has even inspired some people, to go back to the inspiration thing. I've had some people that were inspired by the honesty. And like I said, it takes a very special knack to really connect with people at a level and have them appreciate the words that you give them. Some of them will never appreciate the words. There's also that. There's also people that you could try to talk sense into. you could try to really sit down and have a long, substantive talk with, and they'll just never will give in, and they'll never care. And it's a shortcoming of their own design. There are people out there that'll never be able to be inspired. Now, the people that can't be inspired, I'm not going to say that that's a shortcoming. Personally, because I don't believe it's physically possible to have people to be uninspired. I think, and this is my personal belief, my personal conviction, I think that they just haven't found what inspires them. That's what I think. I think everyone can be inspired, but they just haven't found it yet. And they say, well, what if they never find it? See, that's the thing. Everybody can find it. It takes time, but you can find it if you look hard enough and you look long enough. But you have to be willing to look, and you have to be willing to find it. Now, it may not be invented yet either. Whatever your inspiration is might not be created yet. For some people, their inspiration was AI. 15 years ago, they wouldn't have had it. They're sitting there and their inspiration is AI, and they're inspired by AI, but AI was only a concept. Like a concept design at that point. It wasn't even a real thing. And to those people, it's like, okay, you're inspired by something that doesn't quite exist. That doesn't mean stop trying. It means find a new way. See if you can make what inspires you. And people would say, wow, that's a bit of a tall order, isn't it? Make what inspires you? You want them to make AI? Someone had to. Just didn't come out of nowhere. It's not like it just fell out of someone's rear end and it's, the sun dried it. There was someone somewhere that sat down and said, you know what would be a really cool idea if we had a completely autonomous voice that could learn. Now, AI learns through logic, learns through positive and negative reinforcing. If you try to say something and try to, convince AI of something, eventually you will convince it. If you pose it enough logical proof. Because again, it's a completely logic-based machine. So if you give it enough logical proof, it'll believe it. That seems weird to say, but it's very true. I love thorns. Ah, yes, Rakanishu's gang of people just destroying themselves. I decided to add my little 2 cents there. Oh, that's not a bad two-hander right there. Pretty solid. Oh, that's a nasty, nasty wand. You see that? Skeleton Mastery, Golem. Look at that. Clay Golem weaken in Skeleton Mastery. Oof. That wand will sell for like 5,000. Like, for example, Akinator. Akinator, everybody knows who Akinator is. The guessing genie, right? And everybody's like, oh, Akinator could read your mind. No, he can't. I've stumped him a lot. But Akinator's nothing more than primitive AI because it uses positive and negative reinforcement to deduce a logical pathway. And that's all it is. And then it, of course, AI aggregates data, so it aggregates information. I have a not, and I can't really call it allergies. It's not really a cold. It's got something that's going on. You know how you have like the sniffles, but your nose isn't plugged. You don't have like nasal congestion, but you have the sniffles. It's kind of like that. But like I said, even if I get sick, I'm not gonna stop.
I'll put that to good use.
It'll be all can't stop, won't stop. Of course, there are people out there that would be like, "Wait a minute, you need to, you need to curtail your creation." It's true. My content could be getting stale. It's possible. It's very possible. But I'm not going to stop because I'm sick. Never. I mean, I'd have to be like almost in a hospital bed for that to happen. Which doesn't happen. I can't say never happens. I've been in a hospital bed before. But not overnight. Not overnight. I had asthma as a kid. I pretty much grew out of it, but with the asthma I had as a kid, it was severe enough that I had to go to the hospital on more than one occasion. And upon going there, I had breathing treatments for the asthma, and it fixed it. It fixed, temporarily fixed the asthma that day. But let me tell you, I do not wish asthma on anybody.
I am overburdened.
Nobody at all. Simply because it's just not good. It's not a good thing to have. Right? You just it's so strange having asthma and then getting out and then growing out of it, right? Because you know that there's times that you could just stop breathing, right? And there's nothing to do that can pull you back. And then
Yes?
you're gone, right? And I guess it's having that in the back of your head that it's this weird feeling that at any moment you could just be completely gone. It's a strange feeling. But at the same time, you have everything else that kind of like stymies that from happening. So,
Greetings.
it's a trade off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get to the dark wood. Once I get to the dark wood, I'm going to I'm not going to just get to the Darkwood. I'm going to get to the waypoint in the Darkwood. And then I'm going to call it. But hey, the Paladin's going well so far. And but what I'm hoping for is I'm hoping that I inspire people. Because that's really what I want to do in life, is I want to inspire people. And not to come back around on the inspiration thing here, I do want to inspire people. And I do believe I have the knack for it. The thing is I can't really run a podcast per se because I don't have, any sort of following at all, really. And you kind of need a following to run a podcast, or you have to hit hot button topics that people don't really want to talk about. And then you have to have some serious hot take opinion that people are going to look at you and be like, oh, you're riding the line there. And then you end up getting a following of people that generally dislike you because you have the wrong opinion. And I don't want that either. I mean, yeah, the world's not a popularity contest, but, if I ever do go out in the world, I'd like to be able to go get groceries without getting a fist into the back of my head because I voiced an opinion that people found slightly unsavory. And it's like, that's why I don't want to do a podcast, but I still want to inspire people. I want to inspire them to do better. I want them to achieve. I want them to reach for a goal and succeed. I want them to do better than their former self the day before. Because again, you know what? The world is not a competition. Despite what anybody out there says, there's going to be people out there in the world that are going to say, you need to go out there and get that, 6-figure job, go work out at the gym, become the Giga Chad. Folks, listen. You don't need to do any of those things. It is not a necessity. The only necessity that you have to do is to be able to look at yourself, look at the life you have, and ask yourself very poignant questions. Am I happy with my life the way it is? If not, change it. You're the only one that can. Am I happy where I am? If not, change it. You're the only one that can. And then just try to compete with your former self. If you're, look at yourself right now and say, would my former self be jealous of who I am today? I gotta tell you right now, my former self would be very jealous of who I am today. I've always been brash and kind of, off the cuff, carefree. But my former self would look at me today and be like, look at how far you've come. Look at what you've done with your life. He would, not only would my former self be jealous of me, my former self would be proud of me too. And that's saying a lot. That is saying a lot. Because it takes a lot to impress somebody. I found that out the hard way. It does take a lot to impress somebody. And when you do make an impression on somebody, boy, do you can leave an impression on people. And they say, well, first impressions are the most important. I will agree. They are. Because you only get one first impression. And many people become closed-minded after you have given an impression. You've given off an impression to them. Most people become closed-minded and don't give a second chance. So this is something else to remember the next time you see somebody whose first impression you have of them is, well, that guy's kind of standoffish and a bit of a douche. You gotta think, what's his day been like? Now, I did say his, and people would say, wait a minute, you're saying his, how do you know it's not a woman? Ow, hear me out. I say the next time you meet a guy. There you go. That automatically set tone for the next phrase. Okay? So, if you meet a guy and you just say, you know, man, he's standoffish and, you know, he's a bit of a douche. Oh, what was his day like? You don't know. He could have lost his dog. He could have lost his grandma. He could have had his car broken into. He could have... nobody really knows what he went through. He could be having the worst possible day in his life. He could just be having a terrible day, and he's just not into it. He's not into meeting people. He's not into talking to anybody. He just wants to be left alone. But yet, there he is, and people that meet him that day won't give him a second chance. Because he was one way when they first met him, and the first impression carries over much deeper than any other impression. And once that happens, they've got it set in stone that, nope, this is the guy, this is what he's like. That's the end of it. And it's like, folks, I gotta tell you, give somebody a second chance on an impression. Remember this. First impressions are crucial, but second impressions are the truth. So, like, the first impression will tell you, first impressions are important, but the second impression is verification.
This tree bristles with magic.
Because you can verify after the first impression. You meet somebody and they're an insufferable douche, you turn around and guess what? They're an insufferable douche the second time. Kind of a fair assumption that, yeah, it's going to be that way every day. It's going to be that way every time. Yeah. So, at that point, you could just kind of take it to the bank. But that's how they're going to be. However, I am going to leave this video here. Actually, no. I'm going to go rescue Deckard Cain. I've got the Scroll of Inifis. I've got it translated. I already know where this stuff is. I'm at Stonyfield. Right there's the stones. I'm going to save Deckard Cain. And then I'll call it there. I know I said I was going to go to the Darkwood and call it there, but nope. Because why not? Why not save Deckard Cain? I'd have to come out here and kill all this stuff again just to save Deckard Cain. No thanks. I'm just going to go in, save Cain.
Tragic end to Tristram.
There you go, Cain.
Deckard Cain, leave quickly.
Old man Griswold going to two-shot himself here. There. Is there any other champions I could clean up real quick? Oh, there's a mana burn minion. Got me my level. Paladin's going to be a big old meatball. I'm still not having any problems hitting any of the mobs. I have a 95% chance to hit still. Alright. Now, I'll be able to leave this video here. I thank everybody for coming out and watching. I do. I appreciate it. Every view I get, I appreciate. Every comment I get, I appreciate. I appreciate everything. Every single thing. And I hope I inspired you. I hope I inspired you. I really do. I hope I inspired a lot of people. And I hope I continue to inspire people. I mean, that's what I want to do in life. That I want to make my life's work be about inspiration. And hopefully connecting with people and making them feel better about themselves, feel better about what they're doing in life, feel better about where they're headed in life. Is again, it's up to you. This entire next generation is going to blaze the trail. It's going to be a brand new renaissance. And let me tell you, it's going to be wild. But I hope everybody had a wonderful time. I know I did. Hope everybody has a fantastic evening, a wonderful tomorrow, and as always, have a good one.